Well, we look a bit glum after the final whistle at Eden Park in Auckland. Third round of the Castle Lager Rugby Championship. Springboks against All Blacks, and the All Blacks maintaining their unbeaten record now, 51 matches and 31 years at this stadium. But the Springboks did come out with a losing bonus point. This is the What Goes on Tour vodcast as we reflect on the week that's passed. Hanyani, Shimange, let's go straight into the game. A losing bonus point is the positive to take out of the game, but there was a lot not to be happy about in that first half.
Yeah, look, the margins are so small in a game of this magnitude. I think to come beat New Zealand here, you have to be at your best. We created opportunities, too many compounding errors, not a lot of positive outcomes from good things that we did. So we had our chances, we had our opportunities, but you just didn't take them. And in a game like this, you'll pay for it. We showed fight back, we showed grit. I mean, there's that one scrum when Wilkela got into action there, got the ball back, we got that try. But again, you know, a game like this, we need to be on top of our game. And unfortunately, 7 points in it. But I thought possibly there might be a little bit of a comeback. I think 14-7 or whatever it was. And they're not good enough from our side in terms of getting the result there. But there are some positives to take away from it.
Well, the critical moment in the game, surely, in the second half, when Malcolm Marx went over to score, the conversion goes over at 17 points to 10.
Yeah.
And then from the restart, there's an obstruction, a penalty that New Zealand kicked to the corner. From the line out and the ensuing ruck, there's a yellow card, and they score to go 14 points ahead once again.
Yeah, it's those small margins, Matt. I mean, it's a desperate All Black team. You also once you hear, you understand the pressure Scott Robertson's under. The honeymoon period's over with him, and people they're used to success. They used to be an All Black team being the top of the world consistently for the last, I don't know how many hundreds of years. And that's what they expect. So when an All Black team starts losing, coaches get scrutinized, players get scrutinized, and the pressure builds up. New Zealand needed to win this. Scott Robertson needed to win this, and they got the result.
14 points to 3 at half-time, 2 converted tries. And you could say that they were both soft tries. In the build-up to the first one, it was actually South Africa who were on the attack, little knock-on, played on the advantage, and made it count with the cross kick.
Yeah, exactly. And when I saw Wayne Smith up in the coach's box, because they brought him as the SAS, I know there'll be certain tricks. I mean, for example, they disrupted our base in terms of kicking. Finlay Christie was meant to be one of their weak points. I thought played pretty well in terms of the kicking. Barrett did all the attacking plays. They used the second set of hands to put kicks through to create kick space at the back. That 50-22 saw from Barrett ended up being points. Pollard had the same 50-22. We never got points from it. So it's we both created, but as a whole, they probably deserve to win it because they took their chances. But we get to do it next weekend, Matt. And I'm confident the Springboks can win next weekend. There's one or two things that are very flexible in terms of execution areas, not effort, execution areas, that if we get that right, we'll get the result.
Lineouts.
Yeah.
Surely an area for improved execution there.
Yeah, that's where they've changed the line out. Their forward play has changed. Their maul's gotten a bit better. We got the up-handed scrums, but they contest well. They contest very well. They put pressure on every single area.
It was good to see the Springboks staying in the fight. They got back within 7. They potentially had an opportunity to grab a draw out of the game. Some frustration in the last few moments when their ball was severely disrupted at the breakdown.
Yeah, look, you had a ref that was managing the breakdown, not reffing it. I thought the first couple of scrums could have been penalties. That was also managed, but that's going to happen with refs. You can see the frustration, especially with the Jesu Creel constantly going to him, having a chat with him. Then towards the end, there was about 30 refs because everyone was talking to the ref at the breakdown, at this area there, and he needed to manage that. I think if you want to change your behavior, you sort it out nice and early, and then you move on from there. So I think there'll be a bit of frustration in terms of some of the ref decisions. But look, the reality is Oxenche scores that try where Rico Ioane stops him. Then it's a different game, it's a different outlook. And it is the fortress. There's a reason why these guys haven't lost here in such a long time. But we had our chance. I always just thought, for us to win this, we're going to have to be at our best. And we're probably about 10-15% off today.
So let's look ahead. We move on to Wellington for the test next week. The last 2 test matches in Wellington were 2018 and 2019, a win for the Springboks, and then a draw just before the 2019 Rugby World Cup. Jasper Wiese will be back for the Springboks. We know that. His 4-match suspension, something of the past. So lots to look forward to there in terms of a response to this defeat.
There'll be a response from the Springbok team. We saw it against Australia. We've seen it in World Cups. There'll be a definite response. I think what hurts the most, or what's you know, what's the saddest part about this is it's not like they were better than us. It's just that we didn't take our chances. And that's the hard thing. You know, if you lose by 40 points, you put your hand up and say, listen here, they blew us off the park. They were much better than us. How many lineouts do you have in the 22-meter area? How many chances do you have to score? You know, Pollard gets the turnover. I think the one-time passes the ball directly into the touch. He thought there might be a wing there. Cheslin Colby, the chip and chase, we don't get that. The 50-22, we don't get that. I mentioned Ox going over, we don't get that. So chances though, but I must say, Matt, you know, we're talking a lot about the game, but the occasion was great.
Yeah.
I mean, besides that, the build-up, the love for the Springboks, you got little Kiwi kids with South African jerseys. They're South African, but they speak a New Zealand accent because, you know, the dads came and said, listen, you can move to New Zealand, but you're never not going to support the Springboks. So they're wearing Springbok jerseys. They love the team, but a great occasion. Two rugby-loving nations. And, you know, the greatest rivalry, and there's a reason for it, you know. It's good energy, and it was a privilege to be part of this.
And the other great part of the occasion was Ardie Savier's 100th test match, to see his family, his brother Julian on the field celebrating with the rest of the family afterwards. A special moment, and he is a special rugby player on the pitch and off it.
Yeah, off it, you saw the turnover, you know, the crowd was shouting Ardie, but just the person he is, I mean, he's got a good relationship with the Springbok boys. So humble though, Matt. You can see why he's done so well. So humble, puts his heart out every time, plays well, loves the black jersey, but also, you know, it shows what it means to the family. You had a mom and dad that took you to rugby practice into this small to get 100 caps for the All Blacks. It's nice, and well done to him and his family, his love for his brother, his love for his family. You can see the tight unit, and that's probably one of the things you'll always see, or what I love to see today. You know, the 100 still up there in the stars, but for him, a player so deserving of that accolade.
It's been a good week in Auckland. It's been a tough week at times because jet lag is a very real thing, isn't it?
Well, look, it's tough, you know, the jet lag. You got to go out most of the time. That's the problem, though. That's the problem. You got to stay outside your hotel room, which means you're going to spend a bit more cash, you know, outside the hotel room. But the jet lag is real. But it's the people love their rugby. It's a long way to get here, but it's worth it.
So we move on to Wellington and the box training ground there, Porirua Rugby Club, which was the home to the great Jerry Collins. Our own Skalk Burger says that was the hardest rugby player that he ever played against. Loved the challenge of playing against Jerry Collins, and his memory is honoured at Porirua Rugby Club. The Springboks always love to train there. It's a lovely city. I'm looking forward to going there.
Wellington's good. Jerry Collins, a legend of a man, got to play against him a couple of times. One of the hardest guys you've ever met there, but honoured, gone too soon, but a guy that will always be remembered in New Zealand rugby. Wellington will be good fun. Similar to Auckland. Auckland was good. It was fun. Yeah, the South Africans out here, the live bands and all the bars and pubs, the long lunches were good. But the rugby, the love for rugby is what I enjoyed the most. We got to see old Skinner, Bob Skinstead here. He's in one of the boxes there. But it was good to see everybody come together for a good occasion like this.
What needs to be fixed? You've mentioned a couple of things, just taking the opportunities better. Were you impressed with the players that came off the bench, some of them getting their first opportunity against the All Blacks?
Yeah, Sasha was good. Jan Hendrik got that turnover at the end. The effort was there. Kobus Reinach was good. They added the impact that we needed, you know. Look, we could probably debate selection later on in the week, but they didn't put that. There's a different intensity in the second half where we took the game. You know, our defense detected where New Zealand went. Our attack was aggressive. Sasha took the line on you, asked good questions, you know, in terms of that. So look, selection is going to be debated all the time, but we've got options. We've got good options, but you know, it's a miss line out there, then you win the line out, then the delivery's bad. And then we get the line out, then there's a knock-on in contact. Then when we get going, there's another knock-on. So it's various things. It's the compounding errors that hurt us the most, though. But we'll be up for it next week.
Well, here we are, not a great deal of time after the final whistle, and it does feel like an opportunity lost, but that presents an opportunity to get back on the horse and go and make a statement next week. As we said, Jasper Wiese will be back from his suspension and an almost certain selection for the Springboks at number 8. And they need a response to stay in the hunt for the defence of their Castle Lager Rugby Championship title. It's been a good week in Auckland, and thank you to everyone who's engaged with the What Goes on Tour vodcast. We really appreciate your feedback on the time that we spent with Mills Muliaina, potentially selling his yacht down in the Auckland harbour. But we do appreciate all the feedback and the engagement, and we'll be there in Wellington to bring you all the news, views and interviews, and hopefully another cracking test match between these two rivals next week.